Do you wish to follow her, Virgil?
Yeah.
Well, I suppose we could still try to perhaps convince her, since it does seem like there is something that runs deeper when it comes to this goblin.
I guess that'll be a better choice of action than staying out here in the middle of everybody, given current circumstances.
Right. But I guess Silverless kind of leads the way since he is second closest now to like being friendly with her.
All right.
It's a relative term.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
that's why I was gonna say friendliest, but then I realized that she doesn't like me as much as she used to, but she likes Treya more.
So you guys follow her out to the exit of the city. You see the guards kind of stop her at the river gate. Obviously, she is holding a goblet in her hand, which is a strange thing to have like a basketball. But after a few moments, they kind of let her pass and let her go through the gate. It is during the day, so the gate is open. Obviously, the main gate is a bit further over, so this is more of just the like customs gate almost. And
Paladin.
Go
like, sorry, before or like as she's going through the gate, Paladin. I never caught your name. I don't think. I don't believe.
She said. She just very shortly says Aoife.
Aoife. Well, Paladin Aoife, I hope that we can amend whatever misunderstandings that we have had. I would like to still seek out the end of this this issue.
She says, yes, Paladin Aoife is fine. She's relinquished her surname. So as you guys follow her out to the gate, I guess you guys would just exit out into that kind of road area, kind of step off the road, and she throws the goblin to the ground, just kind of like tosses him out, and begins drawing her sword. And she looks around, just, this will do for an execution ground.
Noble Paladin, I have never seen a goblin behave this way, and someone clearly sent the goblin here. Would it not be smart to determine why this goblin is here before the execution?
No, just stay at the execution.
She looks at you, and obviously she can't. You make a pretty sound point, but also you definitely feel like some very, very obvious discrimination.
I ask you to judge me, Paladin. I ask you to judge me by my logic and not my horns.
She stays her blade for a moment and says, "Fine, if you care so much, you find the answer to the question. I'll be here when you find that is worthless anyway."
Perhaps it would be good to tie up the goblin. That way we don't have to worry about any sort of escape.
Indeed.
I take a hempen rope from my pack and attempt to tie this little goblin up a bit.
Okay.
Do I need to do any sort of check or?
Give me a strength check. He is struggling, but he's probably
Yeah,
not
it's
strong.
true.
He's probably
But
not
it's
very
a
strong.
10.
Anyway.
Oh, who's helping?
Yeah.
I'd like to help if I can.
Okay, so go ahead and make it a check.
A strength check?
We'll give you advantage on that.
Oh,
All right, so 10 being the
okay.
highest. Yeah, he struggles in futilely. It's not going to work. So you managed to tie him up with help of Harpatkin. and he is struggling and crying, and again has gone back to his no die, no me no die, no die.
Goblin, what is your name?
He kind of sniffles, and he goes, he kind of like looks at you, teary, watery, red eyes, right, from crying and stuff, sniffles a little bit and goes, me twice best.
Twice best. Okay. Fergal, I believe you asked a question earlier that wasn't answered by our goblin friend here.
Yes, did your mistress have a name?
He like shakes his head like almost like a bobblehead, and just goes, Hurty lady.
Purdy lady. Purdy lovely.
No,
And what
Hurty.
did she call herself? I'm sorry?
He said Hurty. Hurty lady.
Oh, Purdy.
Like a hurdy-gurdy.
And what did she call herself?
You could see like his mouth trying to like form the word, but like all that comes out is like basically what comes out like goblin almost. Like he's trying to translate goblin into common and it's not working at all. Like his mouth can't form the correct syllables to translate it. So what's coming out is almost like jumbled gibberish noise. But you can see like it's like someone trying to speak a foreign language and not getting the accent or pronunciation right because their first language is so far from the language they're trying to speak.
What is this lady? Is she a human? Is she a goblin? Is she an orc? What might she?
He says, "No, Hurty lady, come when I sleep."
Okay.
Where were
Can
you
I make-
sleeping when she came?
Yeah.
He said, "Home."
And where is home?
You can see him like he's trying to turn his head and kind of can't do it, and he's just like he kind of like looks over and begins like almost falls backwards, and then he kind of like looks over his head this way and go that way. So basically, he's like trying to kind of point behind him, but since he's tied up, it's a little hard.
What is that, like north? I guess. Doesn't matter.
Probably like east.
Okay. Could I make this sounds familiar? Could I make some sort of arcana check to see if this is like a demon situation or something of the like?
Sure. Give me an arcana.
I have a -1 and I'm a priest. That's a 2.
I can assume.
I
I mean,
do my
would you?
reading.
Yeah, that's not gonna work. You have no idea what he's talking about. Maybe he was dreaming in something. It's a dream. He doesn't know.
When he tried to say the, I'm sorry. When he tried to say the name, was that truly a language barrier, or is something keeping him from saying the name?
Very obviously, he's doing, for a goblin, he's doing pretty well at speaking common. I mean, it's very broken, but most goblins can't even do that.
Okay.
So it's possible that if someone knew goblin, the language barrier might be a little easier to deal with.
This is a jump, but do you speak Gnomish, little friend?
He shakes his head. No like gnome.
What about Infernal?
I'd let this go.
He kind of like looks at you very confused. You get the impression he has no idea what you're talking about.
Could you describe this lady to us? Because you say that she comes in your dreams. Have you seen her? Does she have a physical form?
He kind of like looks around at you guys and then stops at Treya and say, "Big lady, real ugly, like her."
That is very rude. Do not say
But like
that.
you could tell like he's like completely straight faced, just like very ugly, like that
Treya,
one.
you are not. Treya,
I'm
you are
giggling off in the
beautiful.
corner.
Treya, you are beautiful. You know, this silly little green child.
If any of you have any idea who he might be talking about, I can cast Disguise Self and see if it matches.
Disguise self doesn't do like a full disguise or like change how you look that much. It's basically a magical version of a disguise kit. So you're very much limited to like makeup, minor prosthetics, things of that nature.
Okay, scratch that.
Yeah.
Could I?
What did the Hurty lady tell you to do when you came to Waterdeep?
He like closes his eyes really hard. She say, "Come to big city, find thing.
What thing?
God thing. Big thing. People come to God thing. Say nice thing to God thing."
A relic or
A temple.
some sort of.
He like immediately like snaps his head to Fergus. Yeah. Temple. That it.
Which temple?
He kind of like, you can see he's thinking really hard. His tongue kind of slips out the side of his mouth.
Sune?
Mm,
Temple to Tor?
dark, black thing. We see it.
Dark black thing. Would I recognize that description at all? Some sort of dark black temple or like
Sure.
an artifact?
Give me a religion check.
Either. Ooh, that is a +1. And that is a 2. I spent too much time.
Dude.
I
That's
spent too much
terrible.
time drinking wine and making love.
Yeah,
No.
you need to study more, man. Poor Sovlis.
Oh boy.
You have no idea what he's talking about.
Would
Sure.
Rhea know anything just from her studies?
I can imagine.
Give me a religion check.
Oh lord.
Hey, it's a double number.
You don't know of any clerical place in the city that would be dark or have black stuff in it. A lot of probably the closest thing you could think of would be like the Temple of Ogma or maybe the Temple of Gond that has darker areas. But considering one's a library and the other one's basically a tinkering house, it would be like an invention kind of place. They would still need a lot of light to work on things. So, not really. Everywhere is pretty well lit.
You know what?
Do
Our
you
Patrick's
really-
read a lot of books, and some of them have to do with religion, so I'm going to give it a shot.
Sure. Okay, well, that happened. We're just going to go ahead and take that 23.
Brain blast.
Harpatkin, the only thing that you're aware of that is a dark temple like that definitely belongs to one of the evil gods. And there shouldn't be a temple here, because if there was, it would have been destroyed. Definitely the paladins would not accept that. The Order of the Gauntlet would probably be very watchful over it. And it would have to be far away from wherever people are, because most of these dark god altars, you're aware of the Dead Three, Mirkul, Bane, and Baal, and their worshippers have been hunted for decades. Altars have been hunted and stamped out. there shouldn't be anything like that, especially in a place like this city.
What about Skullport?
Okay, I tell this to the party, but I tell it well out of ear of the paladin, because I have a feeling that if the paladin knows that I know a lot about evil temples, things are not going to go well for me.
That's very good, Tiefling.
Perhaps we should probably have Treya tell her, but before that, Goblin, do you know where this temple is? Do you have any idea?
He kind of like looks at you and, Hurty lady say, show me in dream. She say, looking street, house. You human have big house, no like. House falling down. Under house.
It is under a dilapidated building.
He kind of like looks at you like.
It is under a building that is falling apart. Yes, is that what you mean?
Yeah.
Okay. Do we know of any places like that? I suppose that there is some areas of the city, like the trade, or not trade ward, the dock ward. Or perhaps up north in the north ward, but I'm unsure.
I would say I might know a few things, but unfortunately with me being gone, a lot of that might have changed recently.
Right.
Well, that is true, but we could always try. What were you thinking?
Vox, would I have any indication on like rundown or destroyed areas in town?
But
might fit the bill.
basically anything within the city proper is pretty well kept, especially anything that gets close to the high road, because again, appearances. North Ward and Sea Ward are right out of the equation. Those are high-end areas. Trade Ward probably as well. That's an area that has a lot of wealth in it. Same thing with Castle Ward. The only thing that would make sense is probably either the Dock Ward, maybe sections of the South Ward, or the Southern Ward, and the Field Ward might be too. That there's a constant turnover of people there, as sometimes it's hard for people to pay the prices that are required for that area.
Well, so you did bring up a good point with the dock ward, so that might be a place to check. There also could be the southern ward and field ward with the current situations going about north, and then the southern ward has just always been more of a rundown area.
Well, we've got a good start, maybe. The only issue would be continuing on with this paladin. We would need to get her to not kill this goblin, since he's the only one that knows vaguely what this building even looks like.
You may as well
Well,
come
the
see.
other issue is even getting the goblin to move around the city without drawing too much attention.
Well, if we get the paladin on our side and we have your pool, well, maybe not your pool after.
Let's say they kind
The
of want me
business
dead
going.
right now.
Yeah, not you, but perhaps herself and me. We may have the, especially her, the pool enough to not be arrested or too suspect for moving the goblin around if it's for the betterment of the city.
We could always try. My only concern is whoever is coming after me might have enough pull around the city to where the paladin and yourself would not be able to get us through without certain situations popping up.
I'm doubting that she got through pretty fast. Nobody was fucking messing with her.
We
Actually, damn right scared of
The
her.
goblin's just like sitting there, like looking at you guys, like was obviously tied up, and just kind of like looking at you guys, like as you're talking, just.
What if we... No, that wouldn't work. I was going to say, like, covered it up, but then it probably wouldn't be able to see.
We could probably just put him like in a sack or something like that until we got to the areas we would need to look. I mean, since we have narrowed it down to the type of buildings that we would need to see, we wouldn't have to expose them until we were in those areas.
But that would have
Could try
to
to
be...
disguise them.
That is true. I do have, and I take out my makeup kit, my disguise kit, just to be sure.
The goblin kind of like speaks up. Me real need to do this soon.
Right, which is why that we are trying to perhaps get you in a point where you can safely go to the city and show us where this is. First, we need to get the paladin on our side. Treya, would you like to lead this?
Because his eyes like snap to the paladin. She no kill?
Yes, for now at least, if you help us.
Me help.
Yes. Treya, would you like to lead this discussion, since you are the one that she isn't prejudiced against?
She just kind of shakes her head, is like, well, I guess I'll go over and talk to her. Though, paladins are known to be a little headstrong, but I'll give them my best.
I'll probably
That'll be
stand
right.
by just in case as well.
I'll be
Goblin
right there
just
with you.
Yeah, the goblin just looks at you guys and is like, Hurty lady no say me no help, so me help.
Treya walks
A
over
wise
to the
decision.
paladin, and so it looks like we'll be needing this goblin from you for a while longer. We were able to get some information despite your discrepancies with it.
She looks at you just like, most certainly not. This goblin is going to die.
No, I don't suppose that's gonna happen, unfortunately. I'll be taking him under my care for the time being.
She looks at you with a very scrutinized gaze and who are you to be taking custody of this creature?
Ah, yes, my name is Lady Stormweather, Paladin.
She looks at you, looks at the goblin, and fine, but I will be taking this up with your family, and I will be coming along with you to make sure you don't do anything that might jeopardize your family's honor.
That is perfectly acceptable. I'm sure when we get to the conclusion of this whole mess, you'll be seeing that you'll have a lot more, how do y'all like to put it, smiting to do by the end of the day.
She, again, kind of looks at you a little suspiciously and just, what are you not telling me?
I have it on a good authority that this goblin might be able to lead us to certain temples that I would pretty sure your order would rather see you destroyed than kept around in the town.
In the town?
Yes, that is what I said.
Fine.
Good. I figured you'd see that. I figure you'd rather go after the bigger evil than some pathetic little goblin.
If this creature is as valuable as you say, then yes, he may prove of some use.
And if he doesn't, I'll gladly kill him myself, to save you the staining of your blade.
She looks at you for a second and gives you a nod. She says, then I will follow your lead, Lady Stormweather.
Thank you.
Do we tell her where this temple might be? Like the fact that it's under a dilapidated building?
I guess you can go and give her that information. I think she's more palpable now to us.
Yeah, so I tell her everything that the goblin said.
She seems a little skeptical. She says, who is this lady the goblin is speaking of?
No idea, but we will apparently find out. Hopefully, if we find this temple, this hidden shrine.
She seems very. She seems a little anxious about this. Definitely curious on what this is. But it seems like you guys have her on your side for the moment. She seems to be following your lead.
Hey.
Can I check something? She didn't seem that proficient when fighting the Goblin 4. I'm wondering if that was dumb luck or she isn't as good as she seems.
Are you whispering this? Because you are like right next to her after all.
No,
He's hanging back
more
with
like
me.
an insight check. I'm scoring her up, looking her over because I've got my doubts.
Sure. Let's actually. I mean, you're basically like appraising her, right?
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and make that an investigation check. It'd be a little hard to tell exactly what her martial prowess is, but considering you're looking over, you can't imagine that the Order of the Gauntlet would give her armor like that and a weapon like that, and give her those that the armor and the way she looks and everything else. It certainly befits someone of some higher than initiate status in the Order, which means that she must have proved herself at some point. Of her actual martial prowess, that would be hard to tell. But she's definitely worth something to the Order, which means that maybe that goblin is more skilled than he looks, which would be a little bit of a far shot. You're certain that there is some weird discrepancy here, though.
I'll probably ask. So, which house were you from? You said you gave your surname.
She's looking away and resheathing her sword, and she says, "None that you need know of."
I can't want it's a long trip. Might as well make a conversation.
Actually, before we will continue.
She retorts to you that we only tolerate your kind because you do good in the merchants, the merchant guilds. Don't push your luck, halfling.
No.
We do good in the
He's very
merchant
nice.
guilds because we are pushing our luck.
She says your luck is.
And I give him like, put it out.
Stop it.
She
well,
says
that's,
it's true. You do make up for your stature and luck.
I know. It's great.
Before we leave, I was going to try to apply that disguise kit to try and make this goblin look more like a gnome, perhaps, or a halfling. Probably a gnome would seem more similar.
You could, but with the group that you're in, and considering that, like, it looks as if Paladin Aoife here already has some sort of clout with the guards. You may not need to.
Clout.
I kind of just want to try.
Okay.
I just want to see how it goes.
What's
That's terrible.
Dude.
More of a
See,
Dude.
he doesn't like makeup, and as I'm trying to apply it on, he ends up just looking like a clown, which just makes it funny.
He's
Just out of
squirming.
curiosity, can you hit the D20 a few more times to see if it just
Yeah. Let's just see how this goes.
It's maybe it's
1,
because
2,
he's like
3.
squirming around so much that like the lipstick or the makeup is just like all over the place. It looks more like he's a 2-year-old that got into the finger paints.
I try to salvage it by making him look like a clown.
There you go. But he ends up just having like face paint everywhere on him. So
Discord, that's what he looks like at the
how are you guys getting him to lead you to where you are? Are you untying him, or are you keeping him tied up? Are you just holding him over your shoulder? Is someone just
definitely.
holding him like a sack
Yeah,
of potatoes
just
on
tie
his
a leash
arm,
to
or
him.
what?
Can anyone fashion a leash?
Well, that's what I was going to say. Was I still have plenty of rope? We could keep him tied up except for his legs, and then fashion a leash with the rest of the rope or some of the rope.
He's literally that
That would
unruly 5-year-old you see in a mall
Yes, except he also
with like the
has-
harness and a leash behind them. I got her back in.
That's big take. Big take.
It's how sociopaths are made.
All right, so you guys basically untie his legs and retie the rope onto his back. So you're basically holding him like a leash.
He's like an armless little toddler.
And he's just like
I
pulling
ended
at.
up being-
Yeah, he's just like pulling at the leash in every direction.